Hello everybody, welcome back inside the CrossFit Update Studios for the first time in 2018. We are back, we are glad you are back with us. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez as we kick off the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games season. A lot of changes have been made at the region and the regional levels. We're going to talk about those here today. But the bottom line is once again, getting to the games is getting more competitive and even more difficult.
And Sean, not to be the bearer of bad news for the athletes, but that's pretty much always going to be the case as the CrossFit community at large grows in terms of numbers of affiliates and open registration, and the talent pool continues to grow. That's only going to be the case. The competition is only going to get stiffer. We're going to cast a wider net, and it's going to be harder to get to the games year in and year out.
The Open is right around the corner, so let's talk about the changes at the level of the regions. We've gone from 17 regions to now 18, and here are the main changes in that department. First off, we no longer have Northern California, Southern California, and the Northwest. Those have all been combined into the West Coast region. Europe has split into 3 separate regions, North, South, and Central, and Latin America has split into 2 regions, Central America and South America. And Tommy, you were actually part of some of the conversations that took place around these changes, so why did this happen now?
Well, first off, Sean, the previous 17 region format that we had was put in place many years ago, late 2010, early 2011. And I'm here to tell you that the landscape of the CrossFit community and the competitive community is much different than it was back then. And going into these changes specifically, you have to look at 3 factors. You have to look at current size, projected growth over the last couple of years, and the level of competition that each region and now the new regions bring to the table with this format. And I think each one of these changes, with the West Coast being combined, Europe splitting up, and Latin America getting their own kind of new situation, are all reflected in that. And you know, some people aren't going to be happy, but I think it best reflects the growth and size of the community that we have right now.
We've gone from 17 to 18 regions. We have also gone from 8 to 9 regionals, and here are the main changes that are being made in the second stage of qualifying for the CrossFit Games. We have the West Regional that combines the West Coast and Canada West. We have the Europe Regional that combines Central and North Europe, and then we have the Meridian Regional that combines South Europe and Middle East Africa. And then finally, Latin America back in the mix as they combine Central America and South America in that regional competition. And you just mentioned it, anytime you do something like this, there are going to be people who are happy and people who are unhappy. Let's start with a negative so we can end positive. Who's unhappy about this?
Always got to finish with the positive, right? Bad news first. Well, it's going to be the West Regional. They're going to be the ones that are probably going to be less happy, basically because their spots at regionals and their spots at the games have been essentially cut in half by combining all of the West Coast and Canada West together. But really, I think that best reflects the lack of growth. They're some of the smallest regions in terms of affiliate population, in terms of open registration and growth the last 3 years. So I think this is an adjustment that's going to force them to step up to the plate and improve on a level of competition that has kind of dwindled from these regions in particular the last couple of years.
The final thing that has changed is that we have gone from a uniform number of people making the games out of regionals. So last year and the year before, it was always 5 people from every regional go to the CrossFit Games. That changes here in 2018, starting with Latin America. Even though they're back in the mix, they're only getting 1 spot for men, women, and the teams. And then the Meridian Regional, the one that we added or that split from Europe, is now just getting 4 spots. So those are the only 2 that don't get 5. All the other regionals, though, still get 5 spots in the games for men, women, and teams. And when you look at this, and the way it could shake out is that the CrossFit Games could have a much more international feel in 2018.
Yeah, the kind of inverse to the losers up in the West Coast is the fact that the international community makes out huge here. They're getting 5 more spots to the games. We're definitely going to have a more international flair, which accurately reflects the massive amount of growth that we've seen across the globe in terms of affiliates and open registration as well. Europe and Latin America are 2 big winners. just from open registration, they represent a third of total open registrants in 2017. So that's big, but I'm really stoked that Latin America gets their spot at the table guaranteed this year. That's something I think that has been coming in the last couple of years after we took it away. We saw a team at the Games qualify in Big Friends, and they didn't just qualify, they did really well inside the top 20. We saw 2 individual athletes in Marcelo Bruno and Brenda Castro have the best finish for Latin America individuals at regionals under that format. And so now I think that combined with the growth, Latin America has earned their spot, and they're only going to get one, but they're going to make the most of it, and they deserve to be represented at the Games at this point in time.
We're going to dive a lot deeper into all of this. Specifically, we're going to break down the 9 regionals and let you know the athletes you should be watching during the Open, because as we all know, that is right around the corner. We're going to be releasing those shows throughout the week. Tommy's going to be back later this week as well with an Inside the Leaderboard segment that goes even deeper into a lot of this stuff and really goes into the numbers there. And remember, you can still sign up for the Open if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? Get that done. Games.CrossFit.com. Sign up for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Open. That is going to do it for us for today, but we'll be back later this week. Ro will be here. Pat's going to be here. The whole gang is back in 2018. We'll see you then.